Hey Aquarius, welcome to October 2019. This month I'm pulling from my Mana Cards deck because I love Hawaii, and Hawaii has a lot of magic and wisdom to share with us. This month for you, I pulled this card, which is kind of a combo card. It's got Lono, and then it's got Kamapua'a. And yeah, you kind of got the pig side, right? So this card is about harvesting, kind of like it talked about rain and how we need rain and storms and such to, you know, make things grow. The storm is part of the process of our growth. And so that's true, of course, emotionally too. And I mean, Aquarius, I feel like you've been going through it. I know last month you kind of were, and I think last month I was encouraging you to kind of find your own inner power amidst chaos. And then with the pig, Kamapua'a, basically he's kind of disruptive. Like I talked about, like him using his snout to like dig up the ground and like look for shit. And so it's like that could be him kind of like moving through a field and like eating all the carrots or something. Well, they don't grow carrots in Hawaii. I'm on a carrot streak lately. but but the other, like, the blessing of that was that when you kind of upturn the soil, you're also making it a little more fertile. You're kind of rejuvenating it. You're making it so that more can grow. And so basically, I think the message of this card and the message for you is that your life is in a little bit of a state of disruption, and kind of like there is chaos, but in the chaos, you might find, let's see, the pig may cause disruption with his sniffing snout. However, his careless spontaneity provides fertilizer for moving out of ruts. Yeah, so I mean, basically, and then there was something else that I felt. I mean, I'm just reading from the book because this deck is new to me and I want you to get what you can out of it. Let's see. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, thank you for... Sometimes the formless freedom of carelessness, spontaneity, and passion are just what it takes to get out of a rut. So basically, whatever hasn't been working out in your life, whether relationships or career or whatever, it's like use this formlessness, this period of not having shape, to maybe plant new seeds, and that all this soil in your life has been turned over, and there's been this kind of like, you know, I'm looking right at the tower right now, and I mean, I think that this is kind of like your life feels like it's blowing up, and you're, oh dude, and then I got this. I mean, these cards are just sort of looking right at me right now, and Aquarius. But this blow up, I mean, I love this woman named Lynn Goldsmith, who, I think that's her name. She created a character called Will Powers, and Will Powers is kind of like a fake motivational speaker from the 80s, and one of the Will Powers songs is Opportunity, and the song goes like, your problem is a gift. It's an opportunity to change. So basically, I'll start pulling cards, but I really feel just at the top for you that there's just a sense of like a little despair because of all this stuff that's just like all up in the air and confusing as fuck, and like, why did this pig come through all of what I was growing and like ruin it all? You know, why did it eat all my crops? and it just like made a fucking mess. But this might be like kind of that blessing in disguise thing where if things had worked out the way you wanted them to, it wouldn't have been truly your best life. It wouldn't have been, this would have happened anyway. It was faulty foundations. It was something that was based on conditioning, maybe old programming, or something that had just kind of had inertia. Like you had been so committed to this idea of like either a job or a relationship or whatever it was in your life that's just kind of like exploding everywhere. If you weren't going through this moment of letting it all fall apart, you wouldn't find what I think is coming next for you, which I think could be even more beautiful and more in alignment with yourself. Yeah, Six of Swords. This card is about moving on. I think you're moving on again from some old programming. I think that this has a lot to do with the idea of who you are. This is like, because this, like, again, this could be external, like job, career, relationship, but how is your career or job or relationship also giving you a sense of your self-identity? Like, how much did you think that was who you are? That was like your sense of self. But you're bigger than that. You're bigger than whatever this thing is. Whatever this tower moment is, you are so much bigger. You're so much more powerful. You're so much more capable. I know you know that you're capable, Aquarius. You're a revolutionary, and you're beautiful, and you're so smart and very funny. But I think that this sense of self that you have wasn't totally you. I think a lot of it came from either a past self idea that you had, like something I'm a Cancer, so but I'm just trying to relate to you. Like I've been thinking about how a lot of my dreams of what I wanted to do with my life were stuff I came up with when I was 13 years old. And I'm very much, that was like half my life ago, right? Give or take. And, you know, I didn't know everything there was. Twitter didn't even exist back then. Instagram didn't exist. The world has changed. I've changed. So I guess my point is, like, sometimes we've created this garden, like the garden that this pig is disrupting. It's like we created that maybe so long ago. The crops we decided to grow were from old information, but we put so much into it, and we cultivated it, and we're trying to get it to grow for so long that it just became status quo. It became common sense. It became just like the way things are, and now we're being shown that it feels like it was for naught. But you gain so much experience, and you've gained so much knowledge, and you've become who you truly are. So I think with this Six of Swords, what I'm trying to say is that you're moving on. You're letting go. You're letting go of what felt like it was you growing something, this building that's falling apart, the structure that you built. It felt like, it felt so big, but really, actually, you're, again, bigger than it. It was limiting you. And it's causing you anxiety, obviously, and that's understandable. I'm not going to tell you to not feel your feels or, like, feel a little overwhelmed by this process, but I do want you to know that this is in your highest good. There is something for you, and you're moving toward it. You're moving toward a new beginning, so to speak, but you're moving toward, and not everything is falling apart. It's nothing can take away what you've already done. You know, like, Whatever's on your resume is on your resume. Whatever experience you have, you have. No one can ever, whatever you've learned or whoever you've become or whatever confidence you've built, no one can take that away from you. It's just all external stuff that's falling away. But again, I really just insist that you're bigger than it. And it might be hard to comprehend that, but you have more power than the thing that is falling apart. And that's maybe why it's falling apart. Temperance in reverse. I mean, there's just a lot of shifts. And finding balance might be hard at this time. And there just might, honestly, oh God, I hate to give so many, like, dark readings. But I guess I just want to encourage you that if you feel like you're in a dark place, it's totally understandable. It's totally understandable, this overwhelm. It's totally understandable that you're like, what was this all for? Because this pig just came in and ruined my life. So if you're feeling a little out of balance and a little bit like it's hard to like integrate the lesson of this tower moment and like why your life is falling apart and not being how you wanted it to be, it's okay. You don't even worry about trying to find balance almost. Because like in trying to find balance or trying to find like healing and peace, it's like you might ironically or paradoxically be adding more pressure to yourself. So it's like the let it be message is not even just like to be okay with it. Feel pissed off at this pig if you must. There is, again, I promise, the silver lining, but you don't need to like be a fucking Zen master all the time, Aquarius. You could just be where you're at and grieve and be angry. I support that. Oh my God. Ugh, Queen of Pentacles. Absolutely, this is you. And Three of Wands reverse. Again, I think it's just because everything's kind of like crumbling. You're like, well, where do I fucking go now? Now what? You don't need to know. You don't need to know now what. You don't need to know what the new crops are gonna be. This pig is just like turned up the soil. Just let the soil, you know, like give yourself time. And that was the message of this too. Don't even worry about trying to be peaceful. Don't even worry about trying to accept what's happened. Don't even worry about just be as hot of a mess as you want. And I just say this because I think sometimes in trying to be spiritual or trying to be like have forward movement, that it's like almost like an obsession with trying to have things fixed, trying to have answers, trying to have the balance so that we can like move forward. But I think really part of your integration process, part of like kind of clearing all of this, it's like, I mean, if, God, I'm sorry this is so dark, but it's like, it just takes time. Everything takes time. If something fell away, if like, you know, you just need respite. You need, if someone blew up a building and, well, it's a bad example. If your house burned down, oh, God forbid. That's not gonna happen. Whoa. Oh. I knocked on wood and then Bruno. He thought someone's at the door. Silly dog. Okay. Anyway, let's just say, right, like how he's all upset, kind of over nothing, but he has every right to be protective and feel how he feels about me confusing him. That's kind of how you're feeling. You're feeling like Bruno, upset and confused because you think someone's at the door, but really it was just me knocking on wood to protect you. Ah, perfect. Like, this is really was to protect you. And this was really, like, again, I keep saying it was in your highest good, but then, like, let's say a house burned down. You're not gonna go build the house, like, the next day. You need time to recover. And recovery isn't about, like, manipulating yourself into being into some state of being that you're not naturally in. You are this Queen of Pentacles. I think a lot of this has to do about your power and about how powerful you are and about how capable you are of something really amazing. And I just really get the sense of, like, the situation that you're leaving behind was actually limiting you. And it doesn't feel like that because to you, it was what you had been working for and cultivating for so long. It was the dream. But you're meant for a bigger dream than what you were able to conceive so long ago when you started working toward it. And it wasn't a waste because you are working toward where you're at now has made you into this Queen of Pentacles, this woman who can manifest and be the empress of something that is brand new. I mean, you're Aquarius, right? You see the future. You see, like, how things are going to be way before anyone else does. And I think that we can get so, you know, it's almost like self-doubt and other people's limitations of who you are and what you could be were having you play small. And I know, I just really feel like it doesn't feel that way to you. But I insist that you're... Okay. Let's see what else. Interesting. Cool. Anything else? A lot of court cards came up. Interesting. Yeah, more court cards. I hate court cards. Alright. Well, the Emperor. Okay, I mean, for example, I feel like the world as we know it is kind of crumbling and kind of like in a place of chaos. You know, the patriarchy has got us all in kind of like some capitalistic conditioning where we're always waiting for this guy's approval. The Emperor, like the guy who owns everything, we've always been kind of answering to him. And then maybe he's in fact the one who made this tower moment happen for you. Where it's like, he's this pig that's like come and like ruined your life a little bit. And I think you're kind of recognizing that even though what this Emperor was promising you seemed so great, it was actually Princess of Pentacles in reverse. Like, you're the queen, right? You're the queen, but he had you believing that you were the princess. He had you believing that you needed to continue to pay dues or that you needed to continue to answer to him. And if he's falling away or something he offered you is falling away, or if it was a relationship where you felt like, I need to be with this person for my stability to like have kind of like financial income and whatever, it's like, again, that's why I keep saying that this was really good. And that's why I keep saying that it was actually a limitation of your power. Because you can do it on your own. I also pulled the King of Pentacles. And I got the Queen of Pentacles. So I feel like this is totally about you and your manifestation abilities. Because Pentacles aren't just about... This is definitely money and finances in Pentacles. But Pentacles are just the magic we unleash on the material world. I think this is all about the manifestation process. About how we put work towards things and build and like keep putting energy and like creating. And so you have yourself, you have partners in your life who are totally in alignment with you. You have resources and support from others still, and that's to me the silver lining. Like, you have all the experience, you have just this, yeah, I think you're allowed to take the time you need to get over it, but when you're ready to start anew. So October, I think, is a letting go of these people, this power, this institution, the patriarchy, the system that you were kind of like conditioned into, realizing that you're bigger than it, and then kind of coming into alignment and into a different partnership, someone who's on your level, someone who, and this, again, this could be romance or jobs. So like maybe it's like you thought you needed this super rich dude who like was a piece of shit to you, but like he kind of made your, like he, you know what I mean? Like he made you feel important because you were with him. Like, but your whole identity maybe was then around being that person's person. Like he, like, I'm gonna say this, like, Anna Faris and Chris Pratt. I personally do not like Chris Pratt very much at all. Anna Faris, to me, is so talented and so beautiful and so perfect and so great. But our patriarchal society had us kind of thinking of Anna Faris as being Chris Pratt's wife, when really who she is Anna Faris, super talented, beautiful, amazing person. That guy, who was like also a piece of shit, again, this could be jobs, but this is the example I'm giving. It's like her being in association with him was actually like, she was like living in his shadow, and she was like having to play this role of someone belonging to someone else. And I think, fuck that, right? If it's falling apart, if it's leaving, it's because it was really holding you back. I insist that it was holding you back, even though it doesn't feel that way. And you're allowed to feel upset and all that shit, because you need to go through that process to integrate and heal from what happened to you. And don't stress and worry about your healing process. But I think there's something coming in for you, or people who already exist who are just more appropriate partners who will let you shine and who will let you be the full manifestation of yourself, so that you can just be you, not belonging to someone else or not under someone else, or not, you know, your self-worth doesn't come from someone else. It comes from you being you and being fucking awesome. And so eliminating the thing that was defining you as good allows you to define yourself as good just from you. So I feel like you're finding partnerships that are really just more collaborative, healthier, gonna let you build something that's really more just coming from your heart rather than coming from building the tower that will impress other people. Okay, and then I got Knight of Wands and then King of Wands in reverse. I feel like this is just about, this is fire energy, creativity, passion. I think you're probably and this all feels like you to me. You're feeling both simultaneously, perhaps motivated and excited and optimistic, and also doubtful. And like, when I tell you how good you are and how you're bigger than this emperor, you might doubt it. You might be like, have you seen who this emperor is? Do you know who this emperor is? This emperor has a lot of power. So when this King of Wands is in reverse, I think the Knight is saying, like, yeah, you're ready to embark on a new path at some point. You can see that for yourself. You can see yourself creating new things, but I think you doubt that you're going to evolve into the king, like the person who is starting their own, like finding their niche, finding their own kind of land, not to get colonial on us or like colonizer, right? I'm just trying to say, You will build your own kingdom. But maybe it doesn't feel like that. Maybe it doesn't feel like there's any space for you. But there is. And you'll come into this power. I think it's really just right now about processing and being okay with the fact that processing doesn't always look pretty. Ten of Cups. Yeah. There's something beautiful waiting for you. Something very happy. Something that's even better than this thing that fell apart. So if it were love, again, it's maybe that partner who is just such a better match and who, instead of your power coming from being with that person, your power comes from that person empowering you to be your best self. This is so much about you allowing your power to shine through you, as opposed to your power coming from runoff from other people. Trickle down power, right? Like that's kind of what you were working toward, was the trickle down power of being associated with this emperor person. But he's in reverse because we're like, fuck him. You got it. This is all about you. Because, like, maybe also, like, this pig, like, let's talk about that garden that you were originally building. Maybe, again, I was talking about how, like, sometimes we build our gardens or, like, work towards goals because it's, like, kind of what we're, like, subconsciously conditioned by society to think matters or is a worthwhile goal or pursuit. But, and I was talking about how when I was 13, I came up with all these dreams, but I didn't even know Instagram existed, right? So how could I have had dreams when I didn't even know what was going to fully be available to me in the future? And then I maybe limited myself unknowingly because I, like, got kind of so far in the process of building that it just became status quo. It became what was. So the pig has ruined your fucking life, feels like. But I feel like now, the garden, he's made the soil more fertile for you. You didn't lose really anything that was, like, inherent in you. And now, whatever you're gonna rebuild, like, whatever you're gonna, the next thing that you're doing is all about you, how great you are, so that you're not under someone's shadow. You're getting, like, Anna Faris winning the Oscar, right? It's like, suddenly we just know her for being her and for her talents. And how great she is, and we're getting to fully appreciate her. And I think that Ten of Cups, it's like you are getting to, yeah, you will have success. You will have the little, like, the rainbow, right? You will get this, the happier part of this card. And it will be because you've let this fallen away and you've come into your own power and building it from, it's coming from you. It's not coming from someone else giving it to you. And so it'll be even more beautiful and more rewarding and more just like it'll just be so much better. A more beautiful life than you could have even fucking imagined. You'll probably become even more powerful than that emperor dude. I think you already are, and I think that's why this is happening. So that you can step into who you're meant to be. Alright, that's it. Best of luck. I love you, and I'll see you in November. Bye.